Hey, Decathlon gamer, welcome back to FM24 Youth Factory. This is episode 20. We have a situation where, in the league, for the moment anyway, things are looking good. They're comfortable, which means we can speed things up a little bit as we progress until things either get tighter or, in reality, we kind of hit the last couple of big matches in the end of the season. We do still have the FA Cup ongoing, and that is where we're going to be picking up here shortly. The FA Trophy is also going to be kicking off fairly soon, in about a month. Right now in the league, we look very, very good. Adekunle is first in the league in assists with 14, 5 more than anybody else. Average rating, Lanahan, Penreese, and Adekunle are second and third right off that top step. Goals, Davidson has 13, is second, is right there. Others are right there with him, very close behind in our team. Player of the match, Adekunle, 5. Much bigger season from him so far. And Julian leads the league in shutouts with 10. So we are, across the board, performing very well. We've remained relatively healthy throughout the season. We've kept morale high, and the result has been good form. In the league, we have a game in hand on everyone other than our main title rival, but they have struggled of late, and partially due to us. They were in good form, they were in second. We beat up on them. They've hardly picked up a point in their last 4 matches since then. They've dropped a lot of points over those last 4 matches. So we've pushed them from good form into bad form, and that's good for us because, again, they're the biggest challengers. Only 4 points separate all of those challengers. Only a 5th and a 6th point separate the next 2. It's tight. Yet we are 8 points ahead with a game in hand. Great place to be. Guarantees absolutely nothing. We're not at the halfway point. There's a lot of games to play. Things could change, and we've seen it change many, many times. But at the moment, things are looking great. But like I said, the FA Cup is going to be what's next, and we are up against a League 2 side, mid-table, on the road in York City. So got a challenge in that one to see if we can continue on and progress another round through the FA Cup. It's second round competition. That would put us into the third, and that's usually a great place to be if you're a National League side. If you can make it to the third round, that's further than most, if not all, of your opponents at that level, generally. But it's also the end of November, depending on the year. We're talking about Thanksgiving Day in the U.S. It's a good time to stop and reflect and give thanks to the progress that our players have made. Let's check in on the rosters at each level and see how the guys are doing. In terms of our U18s, a couple guys at the bottom are not actually on the roster. We did thin that roster out a little bit this year, and most of that came down to, if you remember, we had a number of U18s go up, but the first year for the FM24, the first intake that we had, it was a week into the crossover save from FM23, updated to FM24, and we ended up with, I think, 2 players to hang on to. That was the shortness of that window, had to be. But because of it, we find ourselves missing an entire group. Right now, our U18s, there's 3 guys that are 18 years old. Everybody else has come in the last 2 years. So we're missing an entire age group. As a result, left us a little short-handed, but that'll be fine. That'll be resolved soon enough. Anyway, in terms of the players, there's a wide number of guys here with high potential, and that's really good to see because, well, it had been a while since we had that down here. In fact, it might be the first time we've been this strong in terms of potential at the U18 level, largely because anybody with potential would start to develop, and then by the end of their first year, they were already good enough to make the senior squad as a backup, and then they'd get in there, and then generally we'd lose somebody and they'd take over as a starter by the next year. 1 year as a backup and, be 17, 18 and already a starter. Well, we finally have consistency in players. We haven't lost many guys for the last few years, and that's allowed us to hang on to guys a little bit longer, develop them a little bit further, and not have to recycle so fast the players coming through. And so the reality is the U18s is starting to get some quality. Now, we did have guys with potential that we're developing that have made their way onto the senior squad. And that's going to end up happening here too. Regardless of whether there's a spot or not, there are players that they can overtake. That's kind of a wonderful thing that we're seeing right now, is that we are improving our depth. Here, in terms of current ability, though, Ashley Potter is just about ready, right? He's broken into that 80 range. 70 plus is our bottom level for senior squad right now. So we've got 3 guys at the 70 plus range. Phil Hewitt, Ashley Potter definitely seem the closest. Kasungo Matumbo, very limited potential. I think Kasungo Matumbo is going to be done here very soon. We're not going to see him anymore in the future. We already brought up Maddie Baker for one thing. Ashley Potter also ready to kind of come up and start contributing. But Sanko is somebody who has developed well lately, but he's got the limited potential. And it's going to be weird that somebody in the mid-70s might never get to play in the senior squad, where that used to be good enough for a starter just a couple seasons back. And I just don't think we're ever going to see it again. McCartney's another one, growing, developing, plays 2 positions where we have a need. So give him another 5 points this season. He'll be on the senior squad next year. With a training rating of 9 better, it looks like that's likely to happen. And that will probably see McCartney, the young McCartney, he was part of our last intake, already on the senior squad for next season. In terms of performance, this is also something we've never seen. Our U18s was the first of our reserve teams to get off or get out of the gutter, get off that bottom step. We've got high quality opposition. It's the second tier of all of U18s. We're a National League side, right? None of these teams are National League sides. These teams aren't League 2 sides for the most part. There's some League 1. It's mostly Championship. There's West Ham. But at 5-2-3, this is the first time we've been towards the top. Very first time we've been towards the top. Last season was nearly a 500 year. That was a huge step. 23 points. And that was late. I know the bottom couple of teams are behind the face cam, but it was 2018 and 3, the last 3 teams. We had been the team that had been down at the bottom, getting 2-3 points a season. Then all of a sudden we were a team that was getting 6-7 points a season. And then we were breaking 10, but definitely not hitting 20. Last season was the very first time we broke 20. This season we're already at 17 with almost half a season to go. 8 more matches in the league. So our U18s are not only hanging in there now with the opposition, they're now better than a lot of the opposition, which means we do have some proper depth. But of course, the way things work at higher levels, the way things work for us is these are our guys. This is our team. This is our future. For everybody else, not necessarily. Their future is our guys and 1 or 2 of their youth players. Or whoever's guys. Wrexham's guys. Notts County's guys. Charlton's guys. Ipswich's guys. You know, they're going to pull from Brazil. They're going to pull from Spain. They're going to pull from anywhere and everywhere. The world is their oyster, especially for the top clubs. So they don't need to have their own group be strong. But for us to have our group be strong, when our entire status of being, or what's the phrase with that? Anyway, our entire existence comes down to our intakes, our youth squad. So for them getting better is a great sign for us. It's a great sign that the professionalism, coaching improvements, the training facility improvements are all contributing. The added depth, it's all contributing to us growing into the next phase, which is continuing to climb that ladder, getting into the league proper. Meanwhile, in the U21s, this was our afterthought. These were the afterthought players for a long time. These were guys who may have spent a season or 2 on the bench for the senior squad before better options came along. These were the guys who just didn't have the potential of the U18s guys. The U18s were generally making the jump straight to the senior squad. This was the group that, until a season ago, had not picked up a point in league play. Our U21s were garbage. Back to the U18s for just a second. Trading ratings, all but two guys have good ratings. Neither one of the two are awful. One of them, not far off from potential and 18, may not stick around much longer, especially as a right winger, where we have depth. A fullback with potential is going to definitely stick around and get a chance. He's not doing great, but if he's progressing, and maybe slowly but surely he could be a late bloomer and come along. U21s, this was where we had weaknesses. This is where we had problems. This is where a lot of players did not have good training ratings. Now, top end all do. But again, a lot of these guys are the ones that have limited potential, but not all. He's nearly ready and has some potential. But most of these guys are still lacking compared to either the senior squad or especially those U18s and the potential that exists within them. But as we get further down the list, Paul Allen's a problem. Not developing, not getting better, probably going to get let go. We put him out for loan. Nobody's picking him up. I think he'll be one of the ones we move on from with the new intake. And that's the thing is we're going to start getting spoiled with choices. So a 53-95 is no longer looking like a must-retain kind of player. Some of the guys in the bottom half are definitely training well and performing and starting to make progress. The ones behind the face cam, though, those are the issues. 5 players, only a single one has a 7.0 rating or better. The others all have a 6.0 or better, so they're not doing as bad as Paul Allen. Tom Evans is the only one who's progressing a bit. Grigg has finally reached a 49. He was originally a 44. We saw him get to a 46 over years of playing. And now, slowly but surely, last year we saw him go to a 47. This year he's up to a 49. But he's just 24. And, like, as soon as we have enough goalkeepers, he's going to be long gone. Lewis Hutchings is not progressing fast, but he's 3 years younger and only 1 point behind him. A lot of these guys are way, way down at that bottom end. But it's also still something we hadn't seen in the past because we had a lot of guys that were 35, 40, 45 range. We're getting away from that slowly but surely. 60 plus or 59 plus, mayor and above. So we are starting to get that quality in the U18s. And in terms of almost ready, Mark Walker, senior squad player. McNally, Arthur, plenty of senior squad experience. Gouvin, Peacock. Doran has some senior squad appearances, but he's nearly maxed out. Calver Marmon Ings had plenty. He was a backup attacking mid for a while before Archie Jones came along. And I think before Thornhill, I picked Thornhill over Marmon Ings. I trained Thornhill in the position. Marmon Ings held it until Thornhill could take over. I believe that was Marmon Ings. Cornick Crockard's never made a senior appearance though, so there's one to keep an eye on. But again, other than Gouvin, these guys all have limited potential, and therein lies the problem with what we're about to see in the senior squad. And none of them have appearances, so we have not called on the younger players. What we've called on is the guys that came up. They've got some appearances. Primus, Koulibaly, Matty Baker, who was injured, just came back healthy. He's been really good in all 3 games that he has played, and Rossini. That's the young core. I don't think they're calling Kamara young at 19. I don't think they're calling Archie Jones or Paul Davidson young because they're expected playing time because of where they're at with that. But anyway, last 5 games, we've seen some performances, but not everybody's top in 7. It's not, nothing's automatic. In terms of playing time, Wilkinson is upset and Kasungo Mutombo, but everybody else is happy. Overall average ratings, those couple guys with 7.5s, 7.4, have an 8 for Baker, have been good. Adekunle, 7 goals, 14 assists. Lanham Penrys, 11-7 and 14-1. Our front trio are doing exceptionally well. As for what lies behind them, 8 starts for Archie Jones, 5 goals, 4 assists. As for Thornhill, 19 starts. Significantly worse. Less XG, 3 assists, but no goals. Passing rating about the same, header rating about the same. Shot percentage, massive difference, well over 2-1. But Thornhill's training well and getting better, and Jones has caught up and passed him, so they're both developing. The play time really helping 17-year-old Archie Jones out. Points per game, same. So either way they play, our team performs relatively the same. They're both happy with the play time, so that's good. Last 5, they've both been similar. But it's making it easy to rotate the two these days. And I've started rotating more and more as Archie Jones has done more over the course of the season in contributing to that scoring. Unlike Thornhill, who quietly goes about his business but doesn't produce balls in the back of the net in whichever form, whether it's directly from him putting it in the back of the net, whether it's from him assisting or being creative. His XG is fairly low. He doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot for us. Maybe he helps us in ball retention, but he's in a position we need him to contribute a little more offensively. But Archie Jones is doing that a bit better. Anyway, training ratings, good. Really good. Koulibaly, 945. Primus, 805. 7 for Matty Baker, but he just came back from injury, so I'm not worried about him on that. He's just days into recovering from injury. The ones that are struggling, McFadden, Jones a little, Davidson, and Moreland just coming back from injury. Nobody's doing too bad. McFadden, always the guy. He offers so much more. He's 23. He's got a potential of 142, but he's still only a 95. Very slowly progressing. He's just not that kind of player. I don't think he's ever going to reach his potential. All these years of the starting job, and he's still just coming along. He loses, he gains. It offsets a lot. He's got stamina, though. He's got strength, agility, acceleration, okay pace, and that kind of helps keep him in the side a little bit. Tackling's okay, passing's okay. For us, continually just about works out for McFadden. He's never been the guy, the standout. He's always kind of just getting by. 264 appearances for the club, 2 goals, and that is since 22. He's part of the first intake. 22 to 31 he's been with the club. Never been pried away. There's no spent one day with another club on a free like was so common with some of the others. He's been here all the while. One thing I want to show to you before we get into that FA Cup match, though. Our top end is starting to get really good. We're talking 90 plus from Chris Webb on up. That's the entire starting 11 minus Redknapp, who's an 87. That includes 3 bench players at 93 plus. 100 plus has grown to 7 guys. 4 guys are 110 plus. And for the first time in our history, we have a 120 plus player in Adekunle, who is exploding this season. He's been upset for the last 2 years running because he didn't get deals and really stalled out his progression. He finally got happy. He finally got over it this season. Oh, man. Oh, he is performing so well in training and developing really well right now. You see there's a little bit of up and down, but that was a fatigue and minor injury thing that occurred there. He's fine. He needs a little rest. We've given him a little rest. I think that's why you're seeing a couple things kind of tick downward, but overall he's progressed really well. Salary, showing that we are definitely starting to pay guys more. 134K is his salary, but that helps with the value. He's almost at $500,000 for the value. That's starting to make a difference for us. It's easier to hang on to players because those championships clubs have to be serious about signing them if they want to sign them. And if they want to be serious about signing them, that means they want them right away. They want them to be able to contribute right away. So A, they've got to be better. So we're not losing those guys that are just breaking into the 100 range. B, I want them loaned back, and we're not coming to agreement on that. And I keep fighting that, and they pull out. So my details versus their details are not crossing paths, and I'm trying to follow the rules and stay within the limitations. It's not January right now. We haven't had to bother with this since summer. Just kind of giving you a feel of where we've been and what's going on. And a lot of this is coming down to that value increasing for these few top guys. Just it's pricing out a lot of clubs that aren't serious, that don't want to just grab a good youth player. They want somebody who is ready to contribute immediately if they're going to spend $1 million plus. What I wanted to show you, though, was the coach report on Adekunle. according to our assistant manager, this is what Adekunle now is. Good Sky Bet championship player. Good? Not even just adequate, like good championship level player. Our guy is 10 points lower than this current ability. Our League 2 guys, but you add 10 points and suddenly they're good championship guys? That's a strange one. I don't know if that's accurate. And the unlikely to improve, he's still got a little more growth in him, but not much. But still, good championship player. Like I said, I'm not sure I believe that. Not sure I'm on par with that one, but dang. Performance-wise, we've got a little overlap on our screens here, but key passes per 90, top of the league. Progressive passes, top of the league. Assists per 90, top of the league. Non-penalty XG per 90, though, is kind of average. But goals per 90 is better. Dribbles per 90 is definitely higher, but not crazy. We don't make them do that. That's not our style. But our open play expected assists per 90, top of the league. Shots on target, average. There are average things about him, but he really stands out above the rest in quite a few key stat areas, especially the key passes and assists angle. I almost forgot to show you this. I was excited about the progress the U18s had made, how they've gone from mid-table to climbing that table and getting towards the upper end. But it's the U21s that have lagged horribly behind, and we're having multiple season after season with 0 points. And then we finally started seeing them get some draws. We saw them get a couple draws. Last year we saw them get 1 win, I think it was. 1 win all season. And a few draws. They finished with maybe 6 points. They've got 8 points already with 2 wins, 2 draws, and 6 losses in 10 matches played. Last season they did break 10 points finally, but it was 12. They were 1 spot off bottom. 2 wins the whole year, 6 draws, and 20 matches played. So the U21s have come a long ways, the U18s have come a long ways, and the senior squad's looking pretty dang good for National League level for this year. Here's hoping that January is not chaotic or that we have any major injuries, because at this point, yeah, things are going well. Match underway. It's FA Cup. Not overly worried about whether we can progress anymore. It's more about just testing ourselves a bit against bigger sides. Davidson lays it off. Adekunle in close. Too much down the middle. He needed to put that closer to the... When that header goes out, good sign early on, though. In the first minutes, we are all over them. We are on the road. That's going to make it extra challenging, but so far so good. Henry's 2-on-2. Great pass. Wow. We don't get a highlight to see whether he was off there. I thought he was level. We should be up. What a pass, though. Great finish, too. Atkins gets the switch. There's the goal. We're on top. Should be 2 by this point. At least it feels like it should be 2, but I'll take it. We haven't even played 10 minutes. We're all over them here early on. Really good spot to put that in. Created that situation, and keeper just tips that wide. Nearly had the 3rd ball in the back of the net already in 15 minutes. It would have been a 2nd one that would have counted. Ooh, McFadden dribbles that out. Big mistake there. Right in front of the gaffer. Not fuming, though. Really happy with how things have started so far. Oh, that should have been a turnover, though. And a big chance for them. Total domination to score level in an instant. 1. Good pass. Definitely onside. Just like I thought ours was, but okay. First attempt. First even breath of fresh air for them, and it's a goal. That's offside. That was well offside. AR, what you doing, bud? They woke up, but Redknapp makes a nice play. Adekunle has beaten 3 guys already, and crosses, and Davidson. Maybe he should have tried to control that off the chest. Take a second touch to then get under control. I don't think the defense would have collapsed on him fast enough there, but he goes for the header. Not even sure it was on target. Now all of a sudden we've got a different game. They've got more XG. We are not dominating the way we were early. That was a lovely first 15 minutes. We should have had 3. But we do have 2 now. Thornhill with his first goal of the season. Off a deflection. Pounced on it. Had to be in place. Just watched FA Cup. 3rd round. United. Hoyland. Hoyland had 2 chances. Very, very close range. One of them was a deflection right in front of him. He couldn't react in time. Otherwise, he had a tap-in goal. But oh, here's a big setup. Nope, Davidson lays it off outside the box. Thought he was going to go left or right with it. He had multiple teammates there. Atkins finds Adekunle. Adekunle cuts across. 3 before halftime. Well-deserved, comfortable lead. We got quiet for a little bit there. Good 20 minutes. We woke up, got after it again. Adekunle, good individual effort. Great finish, too. No changes to the side yet. I do have some younger players, senior squad younger players, though, on the bench that I'd like to get into the match if possible during the last half hour or so. As long as we're hanging on and not under much duress, we'll go ahead and do that. At the moment, it's looking like a little bit of duress. Dangerous free kick position. That's deflected. That's out for a corner. Redknapp heads it away. Redknapp on a yellow. That's a Kamara sub waiting to happen. Let's go ahead and get that first one out of the way. We've now played an hour. Kamara clears that away. Adekunle is going to get there first. Lace it off. But we go all the way back to the keeper. No chance to counter. But now under possession. The away fans cheering every pass. Adekunle drops it off for Kamara. Kamara, nice move inside Atkins. 4th goal. Great performance from the team. That's definitely going to be a win now. Counterattack is on. They just made a good play, stepped up a little bit ahead of time, but get caught offside there. End of highlight. Multiple subs coming on. Jones, Baker, Rossini all enter. We have 1 sub potential left for the final minutes. Wall did its job. Got a piece of that one. Heads it up and over. We don't need to time waste heavily. We're up by 3. Offside for Thomas. No flag? Sure. Guy was standing outside the corner flag when that ball was passed, but he hadn't moved. 10 minutes. We could. Let's see here. Bring on Webb. Give Kitching a rest. Davidson never gets a rest. What do we have? Wilkinson? And Penreese in close. Thought we might have been offside on that one, but no call there. Yeah, we'll get Wilkinson on, I guess, and Lanahan Penreese can play on top. Speaking of, no flag. That's 5. I know it's tight. Davidson's definitely on. I think we were off unless the left back was playing him on. Final minutes, 5-1. Didn't think that this was going to happen. But they are League 2. We are National League. It's entirely possible that this isn't their best 11. And if that's the case, they horribly underprepared for the match. We come out very comfortable. 18-7 on the shots. 264 on the XG means we did more than we should have. They got the 1 goal they should have, and it was the 1 chance. Most of their XG all came off of that 1 chance. Oh, and the one subsequent one just a few minutes later anyway. The 3rd round's going to be away yet again. 3rd draw in a row away at the least. Charlton Athletic will be our opponent. This time, League 1 mid-table. Getting even tougher. That could be the end for us, but hey, 3rd round's a good place to be. Away at a mid-table side is always a dangerous time to do squad rotation, but we've had such a busy calendar. We had a replay for the FA Cup. We were still in the FA Cup. We've had all these extra matches, and guys needed rest. I only rotated 2 players, but apparently that was all it took. We lose 2-0 on the road to Barnet, picking up just our 3rd loss of the season. And that does keep things a little bit tighter with our next opponent, which is Mansfield. Just 5 points behind with a game in hand, but 5 points behind. They've only lost 3 games all season. Maidstone, Dorking, Barnet, all by a single point. So we're definitely not in cruise mode yet. Challenges remain. We're going to have to fight back. Southend United just lost again. They're out of the playoff zone, though. Our biggest rival, our biggest threat, not putting up much of a fight right now. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.